2,000 years ago, a small city on the banks of the Tiber River began a journey that would change the course of human history forever. That city was Rome. From a modest settlement surrounded by hills and farmland, Rome grew into one of the most powerful empires the world had ever seen. At its height, the Roman Empire ruled over nearly 1/4 of the world's population. Its armies conquered vast territories. Its laws shaped the foundation of modern governments. Its roads connected continents. But how did a small city become a superpower that dominated Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East? And more importantly, how did it all collapse? This is the extraordinary story of the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. According to ancient legend, Rome was founded in 753 BC by two twin brothers, Romulus and Remus. The story goes that the twins were abandoned as babies and left to die near the Tiber River. But fate had other plans. A she-wolf discovered them and raised them as her own. Years later, the twins decided to build a city, but a bitter argument broke out between them. Romulus killed Remus and became the first king of Rome. Whether this story is true or not, it became one of the most famous founding myths in history. It symbolized the fierce ambition that would define Rome for centuries. For its first few centuries, Rome was ruled by kings. But in 509 BC, the Romans overthrew their monarchy and created a new political system known as the Roman Republic. Instead of a king, power was shared among elected officials and a powerful Senate. This system helped prevent any one person from gaining too much power. The most famous enemy Rome faced was the brilliant Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca. In 218 BC, Hannibal shocked the world by leading an army across the Alps with war elephants. He invaded Italy and defeated Roman armies again and again. Eventually, Roman forces invaded Carthage itself and destroyed the city in 146 BC. With Carthage gone, Rome became the undisputed power of the Mediterranean. Victory brought enormous wealth into Rome. Gold, slaves, and resources flowed into the Republic. But success also created serious problems. The gap between the rich and the poor grew wider. Wealthy landowners became richer while many small farmers lost their land. Political corruption increased. The Republic was slowly becoming unstable. During this chaotic period, one man emerged who would change Rome forever. His name was Julius Caesar. Caesar was a brilliant military commander. He gained enormous popularity after conquering Gaul. His victories made him extremely powerful. In 49 BC, Caesar crossed the Rubicon River with his army, an act that sparked a civil war. His famous words were, "The die is cast." Caesar defeated his rivals and eventually became the ruler of Rome. But his power made many enemies. On March 15, 44 BC, a group of senators carried out a shocking assassination. This event is known as the assassination of Julius Caesar. Led by Marcus Junius Brutus and Gaius Cassius Longinus, the conspirators believed they were saving the Roman Republic. The conspirators stabbed Caesar inside the Senate chamber. Instead of saving the Republic, they unleashed even more chaos. Rome was plunged into another series of civil wars that would change everything. Out of chaos emerged Caesar's adopted son, Augustus. In 27 BC, he became the first emperor of Rome, marking the official beginning of the Roman Empire. Under Augustus, Rome entered a long period of peace and prosperity, known as the Pax Romana. For nearly 2 centuries, the empire experienced stability, economic growth, and cultural achievements. Trade flourished across the Mediterranean, and Roman engineers built thousands of miles of roads and spectacular buildings like the Colosseum. Life in Rome was vibrant but divided. Wealthy citizens lived in luxurious villas and enjoyed the gladiator games, brutal contests held inside the Colosseum. For the lower classes and millions of slaves, life was far more difficult. During this golden age, a new religion began spreading quietly: Christianity. At first, Roman authorities saw it as a threat, but the faith continued to grow among ordinary people throughout the empire. Everything changed in the year 313 AD, when the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great issued the Edict of Milan, which granted religious freedom to Christians. Over time, Christianity would grow into the dominant religion of the Roman world. Despite its earlier stability, the Roman Empire began facing serious problems during the 3rd century. This period, known as the crisis of the 3rd century, saw political chaos, economic collapse, and foreign invasions. Germanic tribes attacked from the north, and the Persian Empire challenged Rome in the east. In 284 AD, a new emperor named Diocletian came to power. He understood that the empire was too large for one man to control alone. So he introduced a bold solution. He divided the empire into two main parts, the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. Each half had its own emperor. Later, Emperor Constantine the Great made another important decision. He moved the capital of the empire to a new city called Constantinople. Located between Europe and Asia, Constantinople was easier to defend and perfectly positioned for trade. The eastern half of the empire became stronger, but the western half struggled. By the 4th and 5th centuries, pressure from outside groups increased dramatically. Various tribes, often called barbarians by the Romans, began moving into Roman territory, some fleeing from the terrifying Attila the Hun and his armies. In 410 AD, the unthinkable happened. The city of Rome itself was captured and looted by the Visigoths. It was the first time in nearly 800 years that Rome had fallen to an enemy. Many believed the end of the Roman world was near. Finally, in 476 AD, the last Roman emperor in the West, Romulus Augustulus, was removed from power by Odoacer. This event is considered the fall of the Western Roman Empire. After nearly 500 years, the western half had collapsed. However, the eastern half survived. This Eastern Empire would later become known as the Byzantine Empire. It continued for almost another 1,000 years, carrying on the spirit of Rome in the East.